My name is Lenny Stone, and Marvin was my older brother. I think Bonnie was about ready to retire when they were killed, and I'm guessing that Marv was still working at the university even after he retired.
The man was an absolute genius and extremely humble. One of the things he helped create it's more well known in Oklahoma is the Green Seeker technology. It helps producers get nitrogen rate right, especially on winter wheat. It saves money, it helps increase yield. He will be greatly missed, but his impact to today will be felt worldwide.
What exactly were their titles throughout their tenure at Oklahoma State? What all did they do?
Well, Marvin was a professor, and he taught ag engineering classes, which later became biosystems. But he taught computer classes. He taught controls. He was on a international committee to design a communications protocol for buses, tractors, internationally. So he worked with Caterpillar. He worked with John Deere, Case International, and to get all of those companies to agree on a standard. He'd been to Germany, he'd been to China, and that was later in his career. But to start with, he just taught classes.
As I hear you talk about him and some of the descriptions that you have given me, I can tell that you were really proud of him and to be his brother.
Yes, very, very. And he was the oldest in the family, and so you
looked up to him.
That's where you look up. Yep. And so his not being there was a tough one. Bonnie was in admissions, and Bonnie was probably the only one in the office that could keep the old system running. And so when she was killed, they had to switch everything to the new system.
How did you start to hear the news of what had happened on October 24th of 2015?
My family was in Carville, Colorado, which is south of here. And we were down there working cattle, and we were hearing this stuff on the radio, but it didn't register at that moment. And then my mother called, and the county sheriff had come to the house and talked to my mom and told her, and then she called all of us.
You mentioned you think by their deaths, they maybe saved children.
We were told that Bonnie pushed a kid out of the way.
Five of her ribs are broken, one of her lungs bruised, and Arend says Madison had a guardian angel watching over her. She says a woman pushed Madison out of the way, and that woman didn't survive the crash.
And then we had another lady that said, your brother didn't die alone. I held him, because the car was on top of him, I guess, from what we understand. And she must have been there and was holding him when he died. So
what would you like people to know about them?
The care that they had for the university, all of the committees and stuff that Bonnie was on, all of the stuff that Marv's on. The love of the university was huge. Bonnie rode her bike to work. She put her helmet on, and if it rained or whatever, Marv was there with the pickup, and they put the bike in the pickup, and that's how they got home when the weather was bad. But she rode that bike all the time. He'd play a practical joke or two. He's a fun-loving guy. We'd go down there for Thanksgiving, and Bonnie cooked the turkey, and it was a fun time. We were pretty close family, so it was a tough one to take.